It is nice.
It's
nice to be back. Look at that. It's beautiful to be back. I don't know what it is outside up by you, but it's starting to creep back up to normal temperatures where it's socially acceptable to go out and play some golf, some froth, or anything in between, my friend. How are you, Jazz Raz DFS?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it is actually kind of nice out. I would complain, but I'm not gonna. I'm feeling good. We've had a nice little run here in the betting streets. It's playoff basketball, playoff hockey, but it's also within a month to the next golf major. So we get treated to some things. We had a little team event. I'm feeling pretty damn good on this Monday morning.
Yeah, and you're looking back at the Zurich. It's definitely interesting. It's fun. It's a nice departure, as you laid out last week, from the norm on tour. Couple of guys playing well. It's hard on an alternate shot event where half of the days are spent playing your partner's shot to truly extrapolate a lot. But you do have other days in which it's all you and you're carrying days. So, maybe I'm ahead of my time 2 weeks ago, giving a David Lipsky top 20. And now is the time to attack a guy like David Lip. Probably not. But you're right. We've got Jon Rahm right here at the top ahead with Finau and a couple of other guys. But was there anything, as we welcome people into the OddsShopper Golf channel, exclusively here for you with golf? Thumbs up, subscribe. We'll tell you all about a bunch of stuff, including FanDuel. I don't know what you took away to where it's like a lasting thing.
I didn't take away much. Again, it's not an indictment, a permanent stain on the record, but once again, Beau Hossler and Wyndham Clark, two talented players looking for a breakthrough. They had every chance in the world, and they were not able to get it done. And two other debutantes in the winner's circle, Nick Hardy and Davis Riley, were able to kind of, to me, come out of nowhere. I never really viewed them as a serious threat. I was rooting for Hossler and Clark. Again, it's like you mentioned, it's hard to say, oh, this guy played amazing, because you really got to dig into what happened. And in a team event, I do think it's a little different than obviously a normal event. So it was fun. I had some minor sweats. All in all, kind of just we're through the Zurich, and now we're back to traditional play, at least for 1 week.
Yeah, and I don't know how traditional it's going to be with the wind pending down there in Mexico, because this thing could turn into a sloppy event. So we have two things to talk about, right? We have the Mexico Open, which is now 2 years old, right, on tour. This will be the second year. We also have Jon Rahm. And much like last year, Jon Rahm was a standalone favorite in the field. The field was weak, and Rahm didn't dominate by any means, but he took home the win. And you could even argue right back then, that's what kind of maybe ignited this fire in Rahm that has been burning ever since. So here we are, Ben. Let's look at the course itself, and then we can kind of factor Rahm and how to bet him with the odds and everything. But just looking at everything in front of us, it feels like after a year, distance and being able to hit in the wind are going to matter a lot more than everything else.
So you definitely are going to have, I don't think you need to be really long off the tee, but if you want to be aggressive off the tee, you absolutely can be. The rough was not punishing last year. Jon Rahm gained over 5 strokes off the tee en route to that win. The driving distance, looking at the average, was elevated here. Now, I will say, I think one of the sketchiest things in golf is when you have a 1-year sample size on a course and you just say, okay, this is how it's going to play. Maybe that was the outlier year. Maybe it wasn't. It's very difficult to know, like, oh, this guy came in third. He loves this course.
Right.
Or he just played it once like everyone else. But I do think the major takeaway is you can get away with some stuff off the tee. Obviously, there's a lot of scoring holes, these par 5s. There's an extremely short par 4 here. So there are birdies out there. Like every course, you got to stay out of the trouble, stay out of the jungle, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's impossible. It's foolish to look at individual course history and say after a year. I do think that there was a belief coming into last year that you had to be long. If it's not off the tee, as you mentioned, aggressive, but you had to be long somewhere. You either had to be long off the tee or you had to be long with hybrid long irons. Like, you could not be long. And on top of that, you had to deal with the wind. And I think those are probably two big constants, as you mentioned, that will carry over. So now we look at the board, right? We look at what we have in front of us. Say, all right, well, we know that maybe this isn't the week to stress scrambling. This isn't the week where putting is truly going to save you if you can nail a shot from 215 to 30 yards out with an iron. Jon Rahm is plus 290. I mean, wherever you shop, Jon Rahm is going to be noticeably wider as a heavier favorite than anybody else. I don't even know if it's worth, if you're going to get anything, Ben, in matchups. Like, I don't even know if you could play Rahm outside of like a round one leader or wire to wire. I don't even know what you get for wire to wire at this point.
It's not going to be great. I mean, I listen, if you want a pretty damn good chance to cash in outright, Jon Rahm is the obvious guy. I mean, there's no doubt. You don't see inside 3-1 too often on the PGA Tour. You just don't, for obvious reasons. Do I think it's a terrible bet? No, not really, to be honest. He's by far the best player. The guy has shown, I mean, what he did at Heritage to me is unbelievable. Just coming there and saying, you know what, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play hard, and he did play hard. Didn't win, but it's hard to win. Having said that, am I gonna bet a guy at plus 290? No, probably not. That's just not really my style. My goal would be with Jon Rahm, maybe he just starts a little slow and that bumps to 4.5 to 1, to 7 to 1, something like that, because we know this guy can turn it on the weekend, and it'd be pretty far-fetched to think that he doesn't even make the weekend. I expect him to play well like everyone else does.
Yeah, you know, to your point, this is like a heavy, you mentioned the playoffs in the NBA. This is like a 10, 11 point favorite being down by like, 8 points or so to start the second half. You're probably not even getting plus money, right? Like, you'd have to wait a live top 20 bet. You'd have to have him near missing the cut, I think, to get anything like that, right? So you're right. It's not even like Rory. We talk about the strategy a lot with Rory, where it's like, give him a day, he'll dig himself a hole, and then all of a sudden the numbers will pop, even for like a top 20. I mean, you may have to treat this like a live top 10 if he's out or seemingly out of it at 1.5 days. But I like it because it seems to be the only viable strategy with it.
Yeah, again, like I said, I don't, is he the overwhelming favorite? Absolutely. There's no arguing that. Tony Finau's inside 10 to 1 too. That's not exactly an appealing price. I know he was right there as well, but like, to me, this is the type of week I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to take my guys, and if they get beat by one of the two big guns, I got to live with it. I'm not going to go crazy. And maybe I look to some other markets to say, okay, like that. Obviously, you're going to hear a lot of people talk about, and you've mentioned this, the winner without Rahm market.
Yep.
If you want to do that, you can, but just know that Rahm being in there elevates every single guy's outright odds for clear reasons.
Look, if you could get a winner without Rahm and Finau market in there, this is essentially the show. I mean, this is our show now for the next 20 minutes or so, is or less, depending on how fast we blow through this. Let's start. I mean, look, Wyndham Clark, I can already tell you that this is 300 points better on FanDuel than it is on DraftKings, right? So we'll tell you what's going on here on FanDuel, where it's a very simple proposition. You sign up. We have a link below. It's going to take you 60 seconds to do so, and bet $5 on anything and get $150 immediately back. It doesn't matter what you put that $5 on. So if you wanted to put $5 on Wyndham Clark to win outright, which I don't think is a terrible bet by any means, that's $100 right there for you. If it loses, hey, you're going to get $150 back. If it wins, you get that back too, right? So either way, you're looking at a pretty good offer here, opportunity, and you can take advantage of stuff on FanDuel, because FanDuel is going to have things that are either beating the market, like Wyndham Clark by 300 points on another major book, or just simple bets. Like, I going to use this as a cross-sport example, if you're okay with this, Ben Rasa, but I assume that somebody betting on golf may be betting on the NBA or other sports as well. Something like this, like the largest comeback. You and Lofty smashed this on the Odd Shop. We've been doing this on the Discord as well. It's just an example of a play that you can only do on FanDuel, and golf is going to have some as well. They're just not up currently for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's a great offer on FanDuel. If you don't play there, you do have to be 21 plus. If you've got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. But I got you. Ample opportunities. Let's get into it. You ready to throw some names?
I'm ready, because I'm interested to see if you go Hojgaard here.
So I don't know. I
Nikolai.
have a mental block with him because I'm Team Rasmus. I like his brother
Okay. Okay.
quite a bit, but he's a damn good golfer too. I'm starting with Gary Woodland, 28 to
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
The guy, step one. What did you mention multiple times already? Off the tee. Gary Woodland hasn't lost off the tee since September of 2022. The guy's automatic off the tee, even during his struggles. Irons are hit and miss. Putter, pretty miss, but he flipped it at Heritage, gained 4 strokes putting there. So I like some of these things. These are weird greens in terms of the surface. I think that neutralizes putting. The one thing I'm certain about with Gary Woodland, off the tee should be pretty strong. That's a good recipe for success. And 28 to 1, unlike some of the numbers we've talked about, this guy's got a major. This guy, I know the health at times has been an issue. I think this is a pretty favorable number for Gary Woodland this week.
Yeah, he's a guy that I'm going to be playing multiple times over. I mean, look, the only other guy that I would really argue in this field is 700 points less. And I know that it didn't end right or well, ultimately, how we wanted it to or expected for both Beau Hossler and Wyndham Clark. But Clark's been playing well this year. And I don't just look at that as an anomaly, the fact that it was a team event and it got bumped up. But for 700 points more, I get a guy who's what now, 38, 39, that still is, you mentioned, he hasn't lost any distance. He's number one in the field, proximity 200 plus. So we talk about how important it is, Ben, to be able to strike with distance from 200 plus out with hybrid / irons. This guy is the best in the field at doing that. Woodland's a smash for me. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know where you start to look at anybody to where it's like, well, yeah, I get it that Maverick McNeely is 3,400 versus a 28 to 1, but Woodland is still better value because he stands a better chance of cashing. Like, where would you even start another name? Well, I know where you would go, but where would the normal person start without going here?
Yeah. I mean, well, obviously you have Griot at 50 to 1, which is definitely a play. I worry
No,
obviously
is it?
around what?
Is it really
Yeah.
for you, or are you just messing with us?
Well, both. No, listen. The thing about Griot is that you don't know what you're gonna get with the around the green game and with the putter in terms of it can be really bad or just average bad. Now he had an anomaly the last time out and it was great. That's not gonna happen too often. But you know you're gonna get the irons. You know you're gonna be able to, for the most part, be fine off the tee. I think this is a fine course for him. If it becomes a torture chamber and if you want to push up around the green, you're going to lessen your chances that you get to a guy like Griot. But if you think it becomes an iron competition, then obviously to me, a guy like Griot and even right above him, a guy like Taylor Pendrith, who, at times has really shown the ability to get hot. He's really solid off the tee. Again, that's going to be a common theme with what I say here. His form is really completely unraveled, but Taylor Pendrith not that long ago was really trending upward. So I think this is the range you're going to start to throw out names because Jon Rahm is in this field. But if you don't talk about those two, this is one of the worst fields I've ever seen. There's nobody here.
Yeah, and I want to play off that real quick because I don't think that, first off, if this is a normal field where we even have like 4 or 5 more guys, top 10 to 25 in the world golf rankings, it changes. The odds are certainly going to change for Alex Noren as well, but he's not playing great in the sense of like, wow, I think he can take advantage of this weaker field. I think there's a sense of desperation. Like he may get knocked out of the top 50. This is it. Like this is maybe the type of field where you can play a little bit better, play a little bit more elevated to your skill set and stay alive in a top 50 ranking. Because if you miscut here, this is it. And now you're really solidifying that slide. So again, it's not a confidence play, but it's at least a name that I wanted to bring up. In fact, I'll even take him off the card here. But just on that theme of it's a weaker field, I don't think that Noren stands out because he can dominate. It just may be enough to motivate him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Noren's the complete opposite of pretty much everyone we talked about. He has no semblance of game right now off the tee. He's lost in 5 straight badly off the tee. I don't know what is going on. His short game's fantastic. He certainly can get hot with the irons. He's shown the ability to score more and more that he's been stateside for quite a while now. He in my mind, used to be a guy I'd say like, well, if it's horrible conditions, he's like Shane Lowry. But that's not the case anymore with Alex Noren. So I get it. I guess my question to you as you scroll, he's 37-1. I see like Matt Wallace is 75 to 1.
That's where I'm going next.
You know what I mean? Like you've got Higo 65 to 1. Is Noren pseudo 2 times as likely to win the event? I'm not sure that's the case. So I don't mind Noren, but I'll be honest, I was more looking for him in this range with these guys, and we unfortunately didn't get that with his number.
And I think he's just one of the few guys up top that's going to be victimized by the odds and the fact that you need to have some heavier favorites. And he's probably closer to that 50 to 1 in real life, but because you have 2 guys up there at the top. So let's look at what else you have. Now I'm going to go 7, unless he's on your card, and you can go ahead and take Matt Wallace. But if not, I'll take him at 75 to 1. Especially because I know on like DraftKings, for example, he's 65 to 1. So you're getting him at 75 to 1 here on FanDuel. But we've got Grillo up there at 50 to 1. We know we're going to get to Wallace at 75 to 1. Do you have anybody in between that you think is worth a mention?
Not really. I think you'll hear some Alex Smalley chatter this week. I'm not saying that's, terrible. He came in 6th tier last year, but I'm not overly sold on that. Similar with Brandon Wu. I bet these are names that kind of come up. And again, I'm indifferent. I think it's really important. I try to do this, and I know it doesn't make for the best content. You don't need a hot take on every player of like, I'm all in or I'm all out. Brandon Wu, Smalley, I think they're fine. I think their odds are about what they should be. If you want a larger card, you could look to these guys. If you want a tighter card, I'm okay leaving them off. Higo, really good off the tee, elite scorer. If you think it plays easy, give him a look. That would be the one name. I probably am going to go more in like a top 20 setting for him, or obviously in the DFS streets, but 65 is not the worst number.
No, not at all, especially for a guy that is going to transfer to some good plus money for a top 20. And that's really for me with Wallace, where you look at him, again, 75 to 1. Make sure you're shopping. You've got the best price here on FanDuel. And it just goes back to course fit. It goes back to being long. It goes back to being able to hit, not only for length, but accuracy from 200 plus out. He's not clearly the best golfer, and that's going to be a reflection of why he's sitting at now 75 to 1 in a super weak and ugly field. But golf is always about fit and feel and course. And if you get the right opportunity to take advantage of a fit, like a course fit, I mean, you see it, right? How often it doesn't matter what league. It could be Corn Ferry, or it could be, behind at Bethpage in the public spot. It doesn't matter. Like if you get some certain people that play well in certain fits, Wallace on the surface should fit better than a 75 to 1 number.
Yeah, again, I mean, a lot of this is not Matt Wallace was an elite player. He lost his form completely. He found it. He won on the PGA Tour this year. I know people don't remember because it was Corrales, but he just won. The guy can do it. Now, some of it is not in his hands, because I think everyone in the world knows that if Jon Rahm or Tony Finau bring their A game, all of this is irrelevant. It really is. But we're going to bet that they're not going to do that, hopefully, and there will be at least a window for one of these type of players to bring their A game and challenge those type of guys.
We got to go one.
We
got to go one long shot before we get out of here.
You're the Chaz Whisperer.
No, not this. I'm actually going a little deeper. I'm not even touching it. Like it's just going.
Oh my God, it's got a mind of its own.
Until I see my. Now, are you
this
ready?
Like
EVR?
Whammies. Stop. We'll do
Is that where
like
you want to go?
Show.
Stop on EVR.
Yeah, him and MJ Defoe. He showed some life. Again,
are you serious? Do you want to go 130 to 1 EVR?
I mean, I want to at least talk about it.
Yeah.
EVR. It's not good, but normally in historically, good irons, good off the tee. It's been putting centric issues. Is he 130 to 1? I mean, again, I think you'd be more prudent to look to him in a top 20 market. You're going to get good odds on that. Something even a top 40 if you want to be very conservative. These are names. They're dart throws. They're 1 in 200, 1 in 150, but like Schwab is 160 to 1. Him and Vincent Norman played pretty well last week. Yeah.
I don't hate Schmid either, to be honest with you, at 160.
So I made fun of you saying that Dylan Fratelli and Schmid could do
Yeah,
anything, and then they played actually pretty well.
but to be fair, like I was with you. To be fair, I was with you on Fratelli. I
Fratelli
thought
is
that
20
Schmid would
over.
play okay. They played well. They did.
Some of these, again, this is the beauty. We couldn't be more excited about this channel. We're growing quickly. We want your support. Easiest way though, when the tee times come out, when the wind comes out, like it's only Monday, inside the ropes. If you're part of our Discord, again, the link is below. It's a great opportunity. I know you're going to update some of these. For me, I don't want to commit too crazy to some of these and say, 100% Schwab is on my card because I have not bet him yet. I'm interested in that name. I'm interested in EVR. And if I get the right pairings, the right tee times, the right wind, yeah, I will put these guys on my card. And if you're in Discord, you'll absolutely be alerted to that nonsense.
Yeah, you can join the Discord. Half off the first week.
Look at my face.
We had an interesting Saturday. I know you're not going to like this. But we had an interesting Saturday, Ben.
What happened?
I mean, we cleared 30 units. What do you mean what happened?
Well, your shenanigans.
We hit a 21-1 parlay.
No, wait. I had no part in this.
We had a 9-1 as well. Like the 9-1 wasn't even an appetizer. The 9-1 was like an after dinner mint that's wrapped in chocolate on the way out. Like, yeah, okay, here's a 9-1.
It's been good. I'll give you credit. It's been good. The Drew Holiday situation was fantastic and insane hold. I had that prop as well.
Yes,
we'll talk about, before we get at her, of course, OddsShopper Premium, just another way you can get involved. But is there, I gotta ask you, is there any of these real guys? Like how low are you going?
Right now, there is one more name we have to mention. It's my name that I'm going to mention on the way out. And who is it? He's amongst this group. 7 names on the board. He's one of them. Who is it?
All right, let's go to the videotape. 1, 2. So I only see 6 names, so that can't be good.
Who's the last name you see?
Kevin Tway.
Okay. So it's one of those 6 guys.
It is Ben Taylor.
Nope. You had it right the first time.
Kevin Tway?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, to your credit, Kevin Tway, when I think about his game.
That's it. That's all you think about.
Like, what's his overwhelming skill set?
That's it.
Off the tee. Like, kind of like that Cameron Champ. Now, has he shown that recently? No, definitely not. But, Kevin Tway won. Obviously, it was quite a while ago, and he used to be a pretty sound putter. He's kind of got that Cameron Champ vibe. Long, but he putts. Not the worst. I get it.
That's it. It's simply focusing on 2 things: long irons, long off the tee, aggression off the tee. If that clicks and that really makes the difference in this tournament, Kevin Tway is making the cut. Kevin Tway is a top 30 candidate. Now, all of a sudden, Kevin Tway's live at top 20. Who the hell knows? But if those 2 things truly matter as much as we think, then a long shot like that all of a sudden seems not too bad. Not too bad.
So I want to give one crazy thing just for the people to chew on a little bit. When we mentioned some of these names, when we're talking about some of these guys, one of the comps, and I'm not sure I even really see it that much, is to Memorial Park in Houston for the Houston Open. And if you cross those leaderboards at the Houston Open, Tony Finau obviously won it. But you've got Ben Taylor came in 3rd. Smalley came in 4th, and Smalley came in 6th at this place last year. You've got Alex Noren all over that leaderboard. Steven Yeager had a top 10. These are just a couple of names looking in the past couple years. And Kevin Tway in 2022 was the runner-up at Houston.
I love it. I love
it. Again, does that mean that's going to be the board? No, but maybe there's some comps there that we can look to.
It's a course comp. All right. Anything else you want to hit on the way out besides reminding people, of course, thumbs up, subscribe. We're here every week putting for dough. We're close. We're getting closer to our next major.
Major is going to be here within a month. I can't wait for Oak Hill. Obviously, if you have questions on the golf, on the Discord, on anything else, at Shander Show, at JazzRaz DFS, I do want to say, because I know this is golf only, but if you're looking for NBA, NHL, MLB, I don't know, lacrosse, MMA, whatever it may be, we've obviously got you covered on OddsShopper and on OddsShopper Premium. Look at that. 7-day free trial popped right up. I didn't even click a button there. That's a true story. I'm sure you did, though. Again, if you want your free trial of this stuff, If you say, I don't even know what you're talking about, that's even better. That's all the more reason to go get the free trial. See for yourself what we're all about. All sorts of bets, all sorts of value, parlays, prize picks, everything you could imagine. And again, it's 100% free for a week. So there's just really no reason not to try it. In addition, let's cash that EVR ticket. That'll take care of everything. You give me the EVR ticket. I'll be giving out OddsShopper Premium for a month.
Oh my goodness. All right. On that note,
Uh-oh.
we'll see ya.